Hey, Nicole Huntsman here. I want to talk to you guys about a new reading that I'm offering. This is a new type of relationship reading. This has been something I've been playing with my friends and people that are close to me, but I haven't been offering it to my clients. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So I'm offering it first because Valentine's Day is coming up. Here I am, single, not in a relationship, and I thought, you know what, on the weekends, I'm just doing this, I'm offering this on the weekends, this reading, Saturdays and Sundays, because I had those closed off, booked up, so people couldn't book things, but I'm like, I'm just home on the weekends, my kids aren't here on the weekends, I'm just like hanging out, cleaning my house. How fun to just do a few relationship readings. It's like I get to live vicariously through you guys, right? And so let me explain to you what this reading is exactly. So I'm calling this the Heart and Soul reading. And obviously with that title, there's kind of two sides to it. So what this is we're looking at, first of all, the heart side of things, which we're going to think of this as in your, oh, and by the way, this is a reading, this is more of a spiritual reading. So this is for people who are open to reincarnation, because the second part of the reading, the soul portion, deals with reincarnation. Okay. So, but with the first part, we're looking at each individual person's psychology. We're looking at their early development of the poles that we have inside of all of us. So all of us have an inner girl, an inner boy, inner female, inner male, inner yin, inner yang, okay? That's the first house is the inner male, the seventh house is the inner female. I'm going to talk about this in more detail in a moment, but we also all have an inner mother and an inner father. What's interesting is if you look at the houses and even the zodiac signs of Aries, first house, Mars, this is a fire sign. This is an extroverted energy. This is something that we do something with, okay? The first house is how we take action. It's our passion. This plays out in relationships. That's how we're going to kind of go after someone. It's what our love life, like our sex life looks like. It ties right into our libido. These parts of the psyche and the physical body are linked together. Then we have with the inner female side of us. That's, if you think about the seventh house, once you've gotten to the seventh house, you've moved through all the personal houses, and you're now in the realm of the other. This is where we learn how to behave in such a way that we can attract people to us. Or it's our experience and our perception about our ability to do so. Okay, so these houses that are the ones that we dance around with when we're initially dating someone, it's the attraction of the masculine and the feminine energy, right? That's kind of the surface side of things. The deeper material from this incarnation that we usually have typically on a psychological level is the mother and father energy. And these parts of the birth chart, if you've ever studied psychology, this concept of introjection, this idea that as a child, instead of just being free to be whoever it is that we are, in most cases, in a situation where we are dependent upon caregivers, we get to get a feel for their personalities and for how they take care of our needs, right? And if with our caregiver, there are traits of the caregiver, sometimes as a defense mechanism, we will take on these traits, we will introject them. So if mother is really strict, and if I'm a really good girl, then she gives me attention and love, then I myself also become someone who, as I get older, may be very strict on those who are dependents of me. So this stuff is unconscious. I think of the fourth house definitely as an unconscious house. Now the 10th house and the father energy has to do with our relationship, our initial relationship to the outside world. Because initially it's just the child and the mother. That's the sun and the moon, And that's the primary or primordial relationship we all have. No matter, unless you're like a cyborg or you were a clone and you were born out of like from the Matrix, then never mind. You don't need an astrology reading. But we all have the initial first unconscious pre-language phase in our life where we were completely dependent on another being that we sort of associated as part of us. An infant thinks of the mother as part of them, right? They're completely egocentric. So the father, when the father comes along, he introduces us to the outer world. And we're going to sort of take on, how safe am I in the outer? What do I need to do to be accepted by this outer world? Et cetera, et cetera. So all these family dynamics, it feels very Freudian, but really it just is what it is. We all start out in a stage where we're unconscious. And so the first part of this reading is looking at each individual birth chart and understanding those four simple inner polarities that play out in our relationships. Just a lot of times they play out unconsciously, especially the mother-father stuff, okay? Second, and also with that first part, we'll look at the relationship chart. So we'll pull up the composite, which is just a midpoint chart between all of your planets, between your two charts. It's like the little love child. And we can see even after looking at the individual charts, we already know sort of how each person's built. This person, maybe has had a mother who was vulnerable and he felt like he had to take care of her. This person maybe didn't get any attention from their dad. They come together and there's this sort of, you're unconsciously feeding each other's, triggering each other's mother-father sort of complexes, I suppose. So in the relationship chart, we can see the dynamics. We can see, okay, when these two people come together, she may not be feeling like she's getting the attention that she needs. Or he maybe is feeling like she's too smothering, etc. You can see it in the relationship chart. Okay. Then the second part of the reading is the soul part. So we go back, we look at the individual charts again, and now we're just looking at where has this person been on a soul level. So let's look at past lives. We look at all the basics that you're going to look at for past lives. So the nodes, we're going to look at Pluto to find deep emotional trauma. This is where the soul has experienced emotional pain, whether it's betrayal or abandonment or imprisonment or false accusations. It's death. It's the inner child, the son, the ego, facing possible death, if not actual death, but annihilation of some kind. And if you see in a chart, in a person's birth chart, you can see where their soul on a very deep level has these memories of dying, of being eliminated. And the thing that's magical about Pluto, though, is Pluto also is to remind us that there is a death and an annihilation. There's a separation, but then there's a rebirth. Everything is dual. So Pluto will show us if your partner is someone who's like a control freak, or if your partner is very guarded. We can see it. You'll see it in the birth chart. Then we look at the nodes of the moon. The nodes are showing us where we're at in our journey. Now, I believe I don't think that time's linear. I think everything happens at once. But from a specific point and place in space-time, it will seem as though it's linear, okay? And for whatever reason, I think that the soul can transcend this. Don't understand how yet, but I do think that our soul, I think we can reincarnate. You can reincarnate forward in time and backwards in time. I think right now, you might be even incarnated in several lives at once. Maybe you're like in the future and you're like, I don't know, maybe you're a cyborg in the future. Who knows? Okay, point is, the nodes of the moon are showing us, these are these abstract points, right? It's just this particular spot where the moon crosses the ecliptic of the sun. And the north node shows us the direction we're moving towards on a soul level. South node shows where we've come from. It's not about leaving your south node in the dirt. You want to incorporate. Everything is about marrying the opposites, okay? So this is why relationships are an externalization of what's happening inside of us marrying our inner boy and girl, male and female energy, okay? And us marrying the inner mother and father energy. It's all about coming together as a whole. It's wholeness. And the whole point of a relationship reading is not, will we have good sex? Will we get married? Will we have a lot of money? These are the questions people always ask me. And I try to sort of reframe them. Why are you worried about if you're going to have good sex? Why do you want to marry this person? Why, what's the deeper meaning? What's the reason for coming together? It's not just like, relationships aren't just a place for us to go and have all of our fantasies made true. They're hard work. Relationships are hard work because if you're doing them right, and the work starts first with the self. So this reading is meant to help you understand yourself, your partner's self, on a much deeper level, much deeper than just even this current adult life that they have. It's their childhood and it's their past lives. Okay, and then also the relationship itself. What's its purpose for us? I'm not gonna say, oh, this relationship's meant to be, you're going to be together the rest of your lives, or vice versa. I'm not going to say, oh, this relationship doesn't have a chance. It's not about that. In the moment, when you're in that relationship, what are you guys learning? How can you help heal each other? How can this relationship help heal you? It's the whole thing. The whole point of being alive is to grow in awareness and remembrance on a deep level consciousness of who we really are. And therefore also coming to a place of loving oneself, forgiving oneself, and doing the same for everyone else that we come into contact with in this present life, past lives, future lives, whatever, right? It's just coming to a place of peace. It's like Buddhahood. Once you're in that place of love, nothing else really matters. Okay, so that being said, I'm offering this reading on the weekends, like I said. You can go on the website now. There might maybe be something else on sale on the website. You might want to look. So check it out. But with this reading in particular, I am looking for clients that are interested in, like I said, the deeper spiritual side of understanding their relationship. Also, I don't read for people who are like in love triangles. It's not out of judgment at all. In fact, if anything, it's just my own. I mean, we all have triangulation, if not in our fantasy minds. You know, it's a part of life. I am at a space right now in my life where I don't want to project my stuff onto the reading. So it needs to be someone that you're either dating or in a relationship with or married to. Okay, I don't want to do readings for. I'll do readings for some, if you've gotten divorced or broken up with someone, I'll do a reading for that, if you want to figure out what was the purpose of the relationship, okay? But I'm just not interested in doing readings for someone who's interested in someone else who's with someone else. I don't like the karma either of it, okay? And what else did I want to let you guys know? Just be sure when you fill in the intake form to just let me know. There's a spot for notes. So let me know why you're doing this. What's the purpose for you? Because I want to make this a valuable, like on a deep level, a valuable reading for you guys, okay? And also wanted to say thank you to all the people who gave me well wishes for being sick. I had a ton of people message me. It means so much to me. And thank goodness for modern medicine, because the shots I've been getting in my butt have been working. So hooray. I'm feeling much better. Yeah, other than that, if you have questions, just post them below. I feel like I'm forgetting something, so if I do, I'll put it in the notes. But I hope you guys are having a good weekend. Okay.